Hello, this lesson is about solving linear equations. So before we start the lesson, can you make sure you've got some paper to write on? You're in a comfortable, calm place to work where you'll have no distractions, and that you've got two different colours of pen, preferably black or blue and red or green. So if you haven't got that stuff prepared, you can pause the video, go and get yourself ready, and then come back and restart. So the lesson objective is to know how to solve equations with addition and subtraction. Your success criteria is to determine the operation between the unknown and the constant. We apply the inverse operation, which we're going to talk to, and you'll be able to solve the value of the unknown. So before we start, can we do these 6 questions? Thank you. Just pause the video now and give yourself about 10 minutes to try these questions. Okay, here's the answers. So just use your green pen and mark the answers. So when we're solving equations, we have a left-hand side and a right-hand side, and every equation has got an equal sign. The left-hand side must always be equal to the right-hand side, just like this balance. So if I were to take 2 green eggs, if these were eggs, off this seesaw, what would happen? The seesaw would tip. So to balance that out, we need to take 2 green eggs off the other side to balance it. And then that would hopefully leave you with the same colour of eggs on one side. That is the same as what we do with equations. We're going to do this example. A plus 21 equals 55. So the inverse of adding is subtraction, and the inverse of subtraction is adding. So we do the inverse means opposite. So A plus 21 equals 55. We take away 21 from the left hand side, so to balance it we also have to take 21 away from the right hand side. So 55 take away 21 is 34. The next one, the equation is actually, the left hand side is exactly the same. 21 plus A is the same as A plus 21. So you can either turn it around to make it easier for yourself and change it back to A plus 21, or you can keep it as it is. But the main thing is we have to take away 21 from both sides of the equation, and that leaves us, we do 51 take away 21, which is 29. The opposite of add is subtract. Okay, so you pause the video and try questions the we do's. The answers should have been A equals 7 and A equals 7 again. Example 3, A take away 21 equals 50. So instead of the equation given us an add, we've now got a subtract. What's the inverse of subtract, or the opposite? The opposite is add 21. And remember, if we have to add 21 to the left hand side, we have to also add it to the right hand side. So on the left hand side, negative 21 plus 21 is 0, so that leaves me with A on its own. And on the right hand side, 50 add 21 is 71. So this next one, we've got minus 21 plus A equals 50. So if we've got minus 21, we need to do the opposite. So we add 21 to both sides, and we get A equals 71. So you pause the video and you try the 2 questions that say we do. Okay, the answers are 35, A equals 35, and the answer is again A equals 35. On this equation, we need to collect some terms together before we can start solving it. We've got 21 plus A plus 10. Okay, so if I add the 21 and the 10 together, I get A plus 31 equals 50. And now I can solve the equation by finding the inverse of add 31. So the inverse is take away 31. So 50 take away 31 is 19, and A equals 19. The next one, we've got a minus 5 in the answer. So we've got 21 plus A equals minus 5. We need to take away 21 from the left hand side. We will need to take 21 from the right hand side. So that will leave me with A is minus 5, take away another 21. So that becomes A equals minus 26. Okay, so you pause the video now and you do the next two questions. Okay, so you would have got A equals 5 and A equals negative 35. This next example, again, there's a little bit of work to do before we can start solving it. We've got A plus 5 squared equals 55. We need to evaluate 5 squared, which is 25. So we've got A plus 25 equals 55. We can now solve the equation by finding the inverse of plus 25. So we take away 25 from the left hand side. That will leave A on its own. And on the right hand side, 55 take away 25 is 30. So A equals 30. This one here's got a square root of 25. So we can evaluate square root of 25 to get 5. So it becomes 5 plus A, which I've turned around to A plus 5 equals 55. Now we want to find the inverse of plus 5 because we want A on its own. So take away 5 leaves you with A equals 50. So you pause the video and evaluate the number and then solve the equation. So you should have got A equals 6 and you should have got A equals 48. Okay. Now there's some questions here. So pause the video, give yourself 10 to 12 minutes and answer these questions. Write them out nice and neatly. Use the procedure that we've used and follow it. And make sure you understand the inverse of each term. Okay, so now I'm going to give you the answers. So here's the answers. Make sure you mark them in green pen and do any corrections. If you've got any wrong, make sure you understand why you got them wrong. This next set of questions, again, pause the video, give yourself 10 minutes to do them, and then restart the video when you're ready for the answers. Okay, if you're ready for the answers, they're coming now. So use your green pen, mark your work, and make sure your answers are correct. If there's any mistakes or there's anything you don't know why you've got it wrong, just go back over the examples. That's the end of the lesson. So hopefully you'll have learned how to determine the operation between the unknown. The unknown is actually the letter. You've been able to apply the inverse operation, and you've been able to solve the value of the unknown. So if you're working at home, take a photograph of your work and email it to your class teacher for extra achievement points. Thank you very much for listening.